Don't think like a lawyer that has to market. Just think like a person to person. And basic things like, yes, cards, like greeting cards, thank you cards are key. Phone calls are key. Yes, there are case management software that will automatically give you updates. That's not personal. The most important thing, even with no budget at all, is to separate the business from the appreciation and the emotional connections that you're trying to build. If you're looking to send something, a gift, don't put it in with onboarding papers. If you're looking to be genuine, don't be asking for a referral. You
Yeah.
just need to be sincere and honest, and you're the person who happens to be a lawyer that's taking care of this other person that happens to do whatever they do or be injured or whatever practice, and it's got to be a personal connection. And that's huge.
Hey, everybody, I know you're enjoying this interview. To hear more just like this, check out all of the podcasts on our website. Link is in the description below. Sometimes lawyers also miss the boat when they get a compliment from a client about how great they did or what a great experience it's been, or they saved the day. And that's, I think, a great time to say, I so appreciate that. These kinds of sentiments, make my day. And by the way, I just, not to be shy, there are probably, a half a dozen other companies that you may engage with on a daily basis that might feel the same way if they were able to meet with me. Is that something we could have a quick conversation about? Because I'd hate to, I hate to take this and keep it a best kept secret, and make it a joke or make it honest and sincere and work, and get the client in that moment talking about it. I've had lawyers who have worked with clients for 10 years. I finally get them to make a comment to their client about referrals and working with some people they know. And they go, you're not going to believe this, but I've been waiting for 10 years for you to ask me. And the lawyer just goes, oh, in a slack jaw, because they just can't believe they just blew 10 years of opportunity because they just didn't have the right approach or the right language or the gumption to make an ask that would have gone over amazingly well.
Right. Well, that's sales 101 is, you can't win if you don't play. You can't get the sale if you don't ask for the order.
Yeah.
And,
but I think a lot of it is nobody likes the salesiness of it. So it's better not to ask. Like, I don't want to ever come across that way. So teaching sales-free selling and really giving approaches and language that make it either their idea or make it more comfortable, I think that's a critical part of this. But I think you in what you're going to talk about really goes next level, because you're doing it in even a softer way through, really thoughtful and creative angles of gifting or angles of being thankful.
Right. Well, thank you. And it just, throughout this whole conversation, audience, just remember that it all goes back to how you make people feel, where we started with that quote. And it's not just the example that you gave, Steve. It's not wrong. It's whatever is comfortable. And it's, if the uncomfortableness from someone that could stand up and argue an argument in front of a jury has difficulty asking for a referral, it's kind of ironic that would be that
is ironic. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the even if you stumble through it and say, Steve, I don't know how to ask, so I'm just gonna, what would be a good way to ask you for a referral, without me, just kind of fumble your way through it personally, and then have a conversation as opposed to being, formal and sales.
Make it part of a conversation. Don't make it like a setup where they feel like they're being like, kind of, oh, I took you out for lunch for this purpose, right? Like, it's just clear now that the only reason you took me to lunch is for this one thing. I don't think you want to come across that way either. So I think there's a timing of it. But let's get back to your jam, which is, there are soft approaches to thanking clients. There's soft approaches to figuring out, like, how do you deepen the relationship to make the referrals happen more naturally? What can you speak to that?
Right. So, well, thank you for bringing it back. The the whole premise is, it's psychology, and there's some statistics in gifting, and the big one is that a consumer doesn't change their attitude towards the advertiser until the gift has a perceived value of $25.
Mm.
Anything less than that is an advertisement. So if you give someone a mug, okay, great, thanks. It's got your logo on it. Okay, great. It's a nice mug. But if it's not combined with a thoughtful personal message, it's, might as well just give them a $20 bill. It's like, okay, great. So I think this is where there's a misunderstanding of how, branded merchandise works. And that's something that we've been working on a long time, which is if you can't measure it, and you just don't give it just to give it, because hope is not a strategy. So it brings us back to there's a, in the PI space, and this doesn't necessarily limit you to PI space, but it's counterintuitive to ask someone if they know anyone that's hurt. It's like, hey,
I
Steve,
think that's
any
fair.
hurt
Hey,
people?
yeah,
Right.
anybody that you found bleeding out on the street lately?
Right. And and you hope it's the referral you hope you never have to give. And even with my PI clients, are like, we hope that we never have to take care of these people, but if these people need to be taken care of, we're going to make sure that they do get taken care of. And it's really a heartfelt type of experience that's based on TV and everything that we see. I'm getting a peek behind the screens, and I'm like, oh my God, these guys are just like us. They happen to have a billboard, but they are thoughtful, empathetic people. So the emotional part is that, when you're injured, you're under duress. So this goes back to there's a principle out there called the KLT principle, know, like, trust. We actually throw an R after it, KLTR.
Mm-hmm.
And again, consumer behavior is, well, I'm going to know this person, then I'm going to like this person, then I'm going to give them my trust, and then I could refer them after I trust them. In a PI case, the client is granting the attorney trust before they know them, let alone like them. And now this is where the gold mine comes in, which is you've got minimum, on average, a 10-month period of time to prove that the trust that they granted you was worthy, and to build a personal relationship with them. So that's where our program comes in and designs a curated gifting experience that's completely automated. But the interaction is that it's a really purposeful gift, a thoughtful gift with a meaningful message. So whether you use us or not, use that strategy in how you work with your clients. Make it a personal handwritten note. Make it to them, make it about, not the case, but hey, we wanted to make sure that you're doing okay. And you want to do that at least once formally through the case management. We usually do it 150 days. And then there's the settlement, and then there's the post-settlement. But that trigger of that perceived value of $25, which does give a more favorable attitude, that's real. And that's a game changer, but it has to be sincere, and it can't be, I'm giving you a Yeti mug with your papers and your injury report or whatever it is, your claim. No matter what practice you're in, it's still, the psychology is still the same.
Right.
But it's just hit them with the heartstrings.
If you want to check out more about what Fretzin does every day to help you be that lawyer, confident, organized, and a skilled rainmaker, please check out our services page on our website. Just go to the website, check it out. I know you'll enjoy it. Thanks.